hi, this is your RJ निशा and आज मैं बहुत ज्यादा excited हूँ because ये होता है ना कि कभी कभी आप किसी को सिर्फ विजुलाइज करते हैं कि उनके साथ कभी बैठकर आप बातें करने वाले हैं. आज वो चीज मेरे साथ होने वाली है and I am actually lucky enough because जो इंसान मेरे साथ जुड़ने वाले हैं he is also the person who says that कि you ask universe anything and it gives it back to you. So you are actually watching me and hearing me on hashtag the blue mic. मैं हूँ आपके साथ निशा and आज मेरे साथ वो है जिन्होंने शायद सबसे पहले इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म पर हमारे बैंड की शुरुआत की थी विद कॉलोनियल कजिन्स एंड ही इज नन अदर देन लेस्ली सर. सो सर, हाउ आर यू डूइंग? कैसे हैं आप एंड हाउ हैज ऑल दीस इयर्स बीन विद यू?
नमस्ते निशा जी, रॉक एंड रोल. आई एम सो एक्साइटेड कि ब्लू माइक पे आपने मुझे बुलाया and I'm totally excited because it's so good to be able to talk about the music and you know you guys have been promoting such amazing music, so well, thank you very much and I'm here.
And it's a great honor for us that we could actually have you with us here today. And you have had a fantastic and a very fabulous childhood, if I say. A person who's been with the musicians, a person who's been with the dancers around, and you have actually got to explore it for, you know, you've got a point where you've explored every kind of music. How was your childhood if you had to describe it to us? मतलब किसी अच्छे खासे पद्मश्री जिन्हें मिला है, सिंदूर वादक जिन्हें मिले हैं, आप उनके हाथों में पले बड़े हैं, उन्होंने आपको गोदियों में उठाया है. How does it make you feel?
It's amazing because मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था कि मेरा लाइफ ऐसा होने वाला है. अब भी सोचता हूँ कि भाई what am I doing? I'm still creating music that excites people around me and it also excites the musicians. कि मतलब ये artistic भी हो और commercial भी हो. I think वो एक blend मैंने बहुत पहले क्योंकि आप जैसे आप जाकिर भाई थे, you know, I've grown up, you know, watching him as a young kid. I've grown up with my dad, with Helen Auntie. I've grown up with R.D. Burman. I've grown up with Lakshmikant Pyarelal. As a young kid, मुझे डैडी काम पे जाते थे. So my dad was one of the biggest choreographers in Bollywood, P.L. Raj. So he's done Sholay, Sargam, Dawn, Yahoo, you know, Evening in Paris, whatever, you know, Deva, Ganapati. It's all done by my dad. So I grew up with watching Bollywood from a very close perspective, but as my dad's son. Mm-hmm. But because he played tabla, so we also, he was also, you know, and he's a classical dancer. So there was, you know, there was Sitara Devi in the mix. There was, you know, Zakir Bhai was a young boy at that time. He was 18, 17. And he used to carry me when I was small. So the classical music का भी एक माहौल जो था, you know, Allah Rakha Ji used to stay close to my house. You know, lots of that dance or classical music. डांस के लिए म्यूजिक जरूरी था, क्लासिकल डांसर के लिए क्लासिकल म्यूजिक जरूरी था, तो वो डांस नहीं कर सकते. तो एक उनका एक ग्रुप था, you know, all the legends, and I grew up in the middle of all that. और मुझे लगा नहीं कि मैं एक दिन म्यूजिक करने वाला हूँ, लेकिन होते होते एवरीबॉडी सेड अच्छा तुम भी डांसर बनोगे डैडी जैसा. ऐसे भाई मुझे डैडी जैसा नहीं बनना है. So I was in school in Mount Abu in St. Mary's and they asked me to do हम काले है तो क्या हुआ दिल वाले है, the Fred Ed song. अभी आप पीएल राज के बेटे हो तो चलो लुंगी पहनो, फेस पे बूट पॉलिश डाल दो. Yeah, I had to put boot polish on my face and wear a lungi and get on stage and sing हम काले है तो and dance like my dad. ऐसे भाई मेरे को डैड जैसा नहीं करना है सब, मतलब I don't want to do all this. और वहाँ से I picked up the guitar in school और वहाँ से होते होते, you know, I've got to a space where I'm absolutely still excited about my music.
I remember the time that, you know, we grew up in a broad place, and then there was the only video channel which we could watch for music was during those days was MTV and all. And perhaps you guys were the only persons in India who actually ruled up this charts, and we used to wait for it. Arey, ye Indians hai pata, and they're going to do this. They're colonial cousins out there talking about you, your hairstyle, the way you took up your guitar and all. How was that feeling when you could see yourself there?
So it was exciting. मुझे याद है कि, you know, when I started the whole indie pop scene with परी हूँ मैं, तो वो पहला आया था. उसके बाद we, you know, said let's form a band. Hari, myself, we formed Colonial Cousins. और जब Colonial Cousins ready हुआ, when it was ready to be released, it was 1994. It was mixed and ready, and nobody wanted to release it. Everybody said, क्या है? अच्छा, they are Krishna. अच्छा, भजन पॉप है क्या? So nahi bhai, it's indie pop. Just listen to the music na. Then say acha Hariharan or Lesle Lewis, acha ghazal pop hai kya? I said, why are you asking these questions? Nobody released it for 2 years. They just said very nice, but pata nahi hai kya. So they couldn't put it any box. There was no fusion at that time. Classical fusion ka box hi nahi tha. So us time when we finally released it, it went to such a smashing hit that I said, look, it's great because as an artist, when Hari and I, we believed in our music. Whether it was a Pari Hu Main, whether it's a Janam Samjha Karo, whether it's Yaro Dosti, whether it's Pal. I never wrote, I didn't compose Pal or Yaro Dosti thinking कि next generation भी गाएगा और वो, इतने लोग को Pal का, they will love it. I just did it because I love creating music. And when a young singer who's got the talent, I want to present him. तो उसको कैसे present करूँ? एक गाना जो उसको suit हुआ. So I created Pal and Yaro Dosti for KK. So today, it's worked. I mean, it's sad news, but it's worked for KK all these years, and it's worked for the next generation. So I have always made music because I love the music. So Abhi also, I just released a new song called Tu Hai Mera, and that's featuring Kavya Jones. Now Kavya Jones is a new artist. She's a young talent of today, and within no time it has hit 1 million views by itself. I'm amazed that it's playing on radio, and there is no record label. It is just an independent song. So matlab music works, and talent like her, she's cutting through. She's already got featured on music magazines front page. She's got some award for best new single. I said, wow. So matlab, people still want to hear something that excites them musically.
Absolutely true. So you just spoke about this song. So can we actually have those few lines from you also?
बस तू है मेरा मेरा दिल चुरा के अब तेरा तेरा अपने ही दिल में बसा लूं ओ तू है मेरा मेरा दिल चुरा के अब तेरा तेरा अपने ही दिल में बसा लूं अब दिल को लॉक करके कह दूं मैं वे अब कहीं न जाना. But you got to hear it Kavya's voice क्योंकि वो गाना उसके लिए बनाया.
Sir, if I had to ask you, कि there've been the times when I was been reading about you that आपने कहा कि आपके दिमाग में एक धुन चल रही होती है और आप अक्सर जब छोटे-छोटे स्टेशंस के ऊपर किसी के गणपति के फंक्शंस के ऊपर कुछ बजा रहे होते थे, you were like कि I'm playing something but I'm thinking about something. तो ये जो दो दिमाग आपके एक साथ काम किया करती थी, how did you figure out exactly आपको करना क्या है?
मुझे पता नहीं. I feel I'm blessed. मतलब किन लोगों को होता है, कोई लोगों को नहीं होता है. They try to compose, they try to do this. I feel as a young kid onwards, जैसे मैं मतलब मैं कुछ प्ले कर रहा हूँ या कुछ बजा रहा हूँ और एक दूसरा धुन मुझे मेरे माइंड में आ रहा है या मैं ट्रैवल कर रहा हूँ और जैसे कि यहाँ से खंडाला का एक पॉइंट है, एक टर्न है रोड में, बहुत से गाने मुझे वही पॉइंट पे मिलते हैं. It's like a conduit from heaven. तो जैसी गाड़ी वहां से निकलते ठक करके ट्यून आ जाता है और अगर वो ट्यून को आप नहीं पकड़ोगे तो आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू एन इनर सीक्रेट ऑफ माइंड कि मैं तो कंपोज करता हूँ. हाँ जी मैं बहुत अच्छा कंपोजर हूँ लेकिन कौन देता है मुझे कंपोज करके माइंड में ऊपर से ही गाना आता है. सो यू आर इंस्पायर्ड. हाउ आर यू इंस्पायर्ड? सो वेरी ऑफन ये ट्यून्स मेरे माइंड में चलते रहे. इट्स लाइक ब्रीदिंग. मैं इतने गाने I keep composing but I have to cut it out saying भाई ये अच्छा है, this is amazing, I will keep this. So I have to let go a lot of songs because I feel it's nice but there are a lot of others but this is wow. So जो wow है वो अपने I work on that but it comes to me from up. It's not me. So I'm blessed. That's all I can say. I mean yeah, I'm very talented. Yes, I'm great, I'm fantastic, but I'm also human.
Absolutely true. So as you say that you will say that we all have a journey and there's always a journey which has its own ups and it has its own downs also. So as an artist, when you started up actually thinking about that you could come up with something like Colonial Cousins and bring it out to the world, were there people that they were all believing in you or was there a time where you felt that yeah this is not working, मुझे कुछ और भी कर लेना चाहिए लाइफ में? How did you go through that phase of life?
So I think this is not working का जो आप कह रहे हैं ना, that always happened when I wanted to do something. So I wanted to play the guitar. मुझे गिटारिस्ट बनना था. I wanted to be in my mind the best studio guitar player in town. The young kid wants to be the best, quote unquote the best. ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं. But yes, I got to a point where I was so much in demand that I didn't want to play guitar for everybody all the time. और मुझे compose करना था. So they said, no, he's a very good, or I wanted to compose jingles. And they said, he's a very good guitarist. So अगर आपके पास jingle हो, please call him to play the guitar. But I don't think he's a composer. I don't think compose. तो वो I want to do something करके गिटार को छोड़ दिया मैंने. I stopped playing guitar and I was just waiting कि भाई कोई तो मुझे एक composition दो कि मैं compose करूँ. वहां से जो today you're hearing mango fruity fresh and juicy वो है, या दूध पियो glass full. All these tunes they didn't give it to me in the beginning. So after a lot of waiting and trying and not getting any work, I started getting jingles, and then I became, all the primetime jingles were being done by me. And they said, oh, he's an amazing jingle composer. And the jingles were getting over in 30 seconds. That's the 15 second, 20 second, 30 second, 1 minute. And then I wanted to compose a full song. And they said, no, he's a very good jingle composer, but I don't think he can compose songs. He's not like, like a song composer. He's a jingle composer. 15-30 second ke liye theek hai. So again, struggling. Finally, you heard Pari Hu Main. I got a break to do that. Ki finally they believed in me and said, "Bhai, tum theek hai, gana karo." वो गाने से आगे जाके I became a pop music producer, and they said, so there was Yaro Dosti, there was Pal, there was Janam Samjha Karo, there's Band of Boys, there's everything. There's so much that I've composed that because they said, oh, he's a fantastic composer, and then it became that I was like a top pop music producer. So when we Hariharan and myself decided, chalo, because उस time bands नहीं थे, either they were ghazal artists or they were something like that or independent singer, but band ऐसा था नहीं. तो मैंने हरी को बोला, चलो band करते हैं, let's go and perform live in front of people. वो हो नहीं रहा था. तो उसलिए हम, for that reason we formed Colonial Cousins. कि let's go and perform live. तो जब performance में आए, तो then they said, oh, he's a fantastic composer. अच्छा, Hariharan is a great singer. तो मतलब हरिहरन जी गाते, ये कंपोज कर रहे हैं. अरे मैं से ऐसा नहीं है, we are together, we are a band. So अच्छा, हरी जी हिंदी में गाते हैं, ये इंग्लिश में गाते हैं, इनका नाम इंग्लिश में है, हरिहरन का नाम इंडियन में है. So people, so again you're trying to fight that thing. Hey, listen to the music. So as a band, it took a long time, from 1994 to 1996. रिलीज ही नहीं कर रहे. मुझे क्या है कॉलोनी का समझ में नहीं आ रहा. जब पब्लिक के सामने आए तो पब्लिक को समझ में आया. So then it became massive. I got my Billboard Awards in Las Vegas. I got my MTV Viewers Choice in New York and Radio City Hall. I've been the only artist, we have been the only artist to have featured on the original MTV Unplugged in London. You got George Michael on one day, and you got Seal on one day, you got Colonial Cousins. It's amazing.
Sir, अगर 90s के दौर की अगर बात करें, so one of the songs which is the most closest to you, which would that be?
Probably, there's so many songs. It's very hard for me to say ये गाना मुझे बहुत पसंद है. But if I just blindly put my finger on one, I might say Indian Rain, as Colonial Cousins along with Hariharan. If you check out Indian Rain, it's probably one of the most beautiful artistic renditions we could have done.
So, but when you say about independent artists and independent music these days, now we find lots of people who are trying to do music. But you were the first persons, I believe, who started it with telling people what does independent music really mean to us. So if I had to say and ask you, what sort of an advice would you like to give to all those people right now who are trying to establish themselves as independent artists?
I always say, the music has to, listen to the music with your heart, not with your ears. Because with your ears, it's just music. By the time it hits your heart, it becomes a song. So what will stay with you forever are songs. So that's what, even if you look at the 50s and the 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s, गाने थे. आज तक वो लोग गाने गाते हैं. उनको आज remix करते हैं. क्यों? Because they're strong melodies. Melody is the king. Yaro Dosti and Pal sounds amazing with KK, but you could also sing it. And people would love to hear it because it's a great melody. So same way, if you look at post-20s, the melodies have been missing slowly. There are a few, but not like they used to be. and there is so much music being made, but no songs.
So this is absolutely new genre, which is something going to be hearing from a very beautiful upcoming singer who's going to be Leslie Lewis now. So you're listening to the hashtag the Mind Independent Artists, guys. मैं हूँ आपके साथ RJ Nisha. Hi Hemant.
Hello.
How are you doing? Would you love to introduce yourself, please, to us?
Yes, my name is Hemant Punjabi, and I live in Africa, in Benin. I was born in Nigeria, and just I have a passion for music. So yeah.
So हेमंत, अगर आपको अपने गाने के बारे में बताना हो तो आपका अपना कौन सा ऐसा गाना है जो आप सुनाना चाहेंगे? And Leslie sir can actually give you advice on that after that.
Okay. I 3 months. On 14th Feb actually on Valentine's Day I had launched my first song on YouTube. So I will just वही गा लेता हूँ थोड़ा सा.
Please.
Yeah. It's actually, sir, a new genre. It's Indo-Afro.
Okay.
So I'm actually,
Lovely.
it's
Sounds
Indian
exciting.
music with African music. We have just fusion it.
Yeah.
So it's the first song. Okay. तुम सा हसीना नहीं देखा मैंने यहाँ, दिला दूं तुझे मैं सभी खुशियाँ, है नजरे कहीं तुझ पे लेकिन मैं दीवाना, तू आजा है सबसे अलग मेरी दुनिया. Uyevanue, Bobana dawe bebe, Jeto franrajo warsika badia biye davio bai Dubai. तू चाहत मेरी बन जा मेरी जिंदगी, तुझे पास बुला के रोवर में बिठा के ले जाऊंगा तुझको दुबई. लो ला 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 रे 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 ला 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 ले ला 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 ले हे. बांधी जे जोलो भैया मो बेबे, तेरा हीरो है यहाँ खड़ा, ओ मेरी जान मो बेबे, माशेरी दूदू शूशू लूलू मोनामो, ला 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 मो बेबे, माशेरी दूदू शूशू लूलू मोनामो, सुन ले मेरी दास्तां.
Wow,
Yes.
All right.
Leslie sir, how did you like it?
How cool is it, na? See, he's doing his thing. He's living. See, he's singing his life, no? Where he was born. What is so? See, that's the beauty, that you're not trying hard. You're just trying to be what you really are, and also trying to space, but अपनापन नहीं जा रहा है. That's very important.
Very true. Very true. Hemant, would you like to actually ask your question जो आपको ऐसी इच्छा है कि लेस्ली सर से मुझे पूछना है, उनसे जानने की कोशिश करनी है या कुछ और सीखना है आपको? So what is that one question would you like to ask to him?
Where actually truly I don't have any question, but I would really like to ask that from where do you get your inspiration actually? For creating your art, your music or whatever, like from where do you get the inspiration?
Well, like I told Nisha, on the way to Pune, there is one spot. So you can stand there. See if it works for you. I don't know. But besides that, I think you got to be a little passionate about what you do. And I've been passionate about music since I was a kid. I used to take my cassette recorder and go to the stream when it was, after the rains, the streams would be full of water, and I'd go and put the cassette player right next to the water and get it to record and play my guitar, and I used to sing and have this water sound at the back, and you'll be a little mad. थोड़ा पागलपन होना चाहिए. तो वो पैशन जो है, वो पागलपन के बॉर्डर पे जब रहता है ना, तो ज्यादा हो जाता है तो पागलपन में रहता है, बट वो बॉर्डर पे रहता है तो पैशन होता है. एंड if it's on the perfect border, then I think it's like creative passion. And I think that's a commercial passion, whatever you might want to call it, where people understand what you're doing. So I think to what you're doing, you also sound passionate that you followed your music, you followed your some culture of yours that you grew up with, and you're not willing to let that go just because ऐसा चलता है तो मैं भी वैसा करता हूँ. नहीं, I'm very happy doing this and I sound like this. I hope you like my sound, and I think it sounds great what you're doing.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hemant, for actually joining with us.
Thank you so much.
Leslie sir, coming back to your personal life. So if you were not a music composer or
Hmm.
a jingle artist or a person who played a guitar,
Hmm.
then who would Leslie Lewis be?
Engine driver.
Huh?
When I was small, my godfather, he was the chief of sports Western Railway. So every time we'd go by train, I would sit with the motorman right in the front and I would drive the train. So, the local trains. And I would drive
Wow.
it. And I said, Arey, beta, beta, slow, slow. Arey, I want to go fast. Arey, you can't just go faster. He has to watch the signals and there's certain speeds that they have to go at. So I used to have fun. So I always thought I was going to be an engine driver.
So one person that you can always just go to, the go-to person in your life. Ki bas kuch bhi ho, to you need to give him a call or her a call and say whatever you had to say. Who's that one person?
There's a friend of mine in Baroda called Naushir Modi. He's an old Baba. I'm saying old because even I'm old. So we've been in class from the 3rd standard. And he's been my friend ever since. And he can call me anytime and he talks to me anything and I talk to him anything. And he kind of knows my life as much as I know it.
So if you do not mind, if you could just actually sing us a beautiful song of hers, which is Haath Ab Chodo Zara.
हाथ अब छोड़ जरा क्या कहे सारा जहां कि मैंने दिल तुम्हें दे दिया हाथ अब छोड़ जरा क्या कहे सारा जहां कि मैंने दिल तुम्हें दे दिया सच बताऊं तो ये I'm going on my way तुझको मिले तुमको मिलेगा और कोई मेरी तरह तुम
There's another song which is Teri Meri Zindagi. So if you could just let us know about it and if you could just sing it for us also.
So that's a lovely romantic जो हम कहते हैं ना classic ballad and so a cliched ballad. Cliche बोलते हैं तो वही same लगता है, but same always works. Like a cliche suit, a classic suit, a classic kurta, classic, everything classic works every time
Correct.
if it's presented in the right way. So Teri Meri Zindagi is a duet with Kavya Jones and me, and it was shot in Kasauli, and it's a very simple Teri Meri Zindagi ka कैसा ये फसाना जानू ना मैं जाने ना तू हमें जाना कहाँ. So it's just simple and this song, Rajesh Johri had written the lyrics for this song, and just classic 90s romantic song.
Classical romance, which is something missing out from the today's world, which you could actually say that. There's another song of yours which is Dil Tere Bina. So इस गाने को अगर हम पूछे आपसे इसके पीछे की कहानी, तो what is that going to be?
Again, there are so many people who are lost, they're lonely, and they're sitting with that one glass of whiskey or the alcohol, whatever, and that's the only company that they have. And then Dil Tere Bina मुझसे कह रहा है मैं कहाँ जाऊं तंग 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 दिल तेरे बिना मुझसे कह रहा है मैं कहाँ जाऊं पीछे मुड़ के देखूं तो तेरी याद सताए सामने अंधेरा दिया तू ही जलाए दिल तेरे बिना मुझसे कह रहा है मैं कहाँ जाऊं.
Such a beautiful composition, Leslie sir. I mean, like, I can still
Thank
imagine
you.
myself sitting on a rocking chair with having a glass of wine and just listening to it. And the other song which is Haathon Mein Haath. So इस गाने के साथ में आपका साथ कैसे जुड़ा?
I've seen so many situations. I won't name, like even in the armed forces, in the wherever it is, you come in with your husband, and then somebody else is making an ishara there saying, "Wahan aa jao na, come to the washroom." So So she said, I'll just go to the washroom. She's going, he said, मैं भी आता हूँ. अरे भाई, I've seen it. So हाथों में हाथ और किसी और की आंखों से मुलाकात, हाथों में हाथ और किसी और की आंखों से मुलाकात, वो मुझको प्यार से बुलाए बंदे नहीं छोड़े मेरा साथ. So the guys looking at the girl, she's saying, इशारा दे रही, आंखें जो मिलाई, वॉशरूम को बुलाई, वॉशरूम में चला तो मेरी बेबी साथ आई, मेरी बेबी नहीं छोड़े मेरा साथ. ओ हाथों में हाथ, वो मुझको प्यार से बुलाए पर मेरी बेबी नहीं छोड़ी. तो वाइफ मेरी हाथ ही छोड़ रही है, वो बेबी वो प्यार से बुला रही है मुझे वहां, लेकिन मेरी वाइफ ऐसी. So I've seen these very interesting situations, not just in, I said armed forces, like when I was a young kid, I've seen that. I've seen it in the very high-end society parties, same thing.
Thank you so much, Leslie sir, for actually sharing us this beautiful stories, this beautiful kind of inspirations of your life. Hope, sir, you really enjoyed the conversation as much as we did with you.
Thank you, Nisha. I was so happy to be on Blue Mic and so happy to be with you.